Hello again. This time I'm going to take a look at the four-direction punch and the four-direction block preparatory patterns that you find in Taekwondo. These ones tend to differ from school to school. So every school creates their own preparatory patterns, so to speak, that get students ready for the rest of the patterns. So these are usually white belt patterns, but they can also be sprinkled throughout the criteria or throughout the curriculum at a Taekwondo school to make up for any gaps that exist in the regular pattern set. So if you take a look at this here, this is what they call the four-direction punch. And you can see all it is a low block, stepping forward, middle punch in all four directions. And then you're going to see that he repeats it on the other side. So now he's going to go in the other direction. For some schools, they'll start with this as an opening pattern. For my school, my first pattern is a little bit more involved than that. I also work both sides, left and right side. But oftentimes this is the very first pattern that you see in a school. And at some schools, since you're doing foundation movements anyway, a pattern like that is almost too trivial to be a pattern in and of itself. So I'm going to watch this again. It goes by so quickly. So here, I'll just watch it one more time. So again, he's got fantastic power on every movement. The only thing I would say, once again, the punches are too high. That was a little bit better there. But you can see he's punching shoulder height. So you're not punching shoulder height when you do a middle punch, and you shouldn't be punching out directly from your shoulder when you do a middle punch. You should be aiming inward towards the solar plexus. So this is one of those things where there isn't much that I can comment on a pattern like this that is this basic, but you can start to see some of the fundamentals, how they're different and how they're changing things in their pattern. That when we throw a middle punch, we are aiming for the solar plexus. We're aiming dead center on the body, and you can see that their punches are off to the side. So if an opponent is standing directly in front of them, they're not going to hit them with any of those punches. They're going to miss. Or if they're going to hit the opponent, they're going to end up punching their opponent in the shoulder. And that's not where a middle punch is supposed to go. A middle punch does not go here. You shouldn't be punching for here. If you look at your own reflection in the mirror when you're doing these techniques, then your punch should be going right here for a middle punch every time. It shouldn't be off to the side, and it shouldn't be elevated to shoulder height like that. You should always be punching your own solar plexus level. And your solar plexus is this part right in the middle of your chest, just right where it starts to get soft, that little squishy part right there. That is your solar plexus, almost like where the uniform comes together in the middle. That's your solar plexus. That's what you should be aiming for with a middle punch. And always your own solar plexus height, not your opponent's solar plexus height. So you're punching for what is optimum for you when you're doing the training exercises and to get your accuracy down pat. So we take a look at that. I'm going to take a look at the four-direction block that they have as well. So we'll take a look at this one together. This one is very similar, except he's doing a low block and he's doing a middle block, but he's making a mistake here in that he's opening his hand when he does the low block. You should never do a low block with loose fingers. So if you watch, every time he does the low block, he opens his hand and his fingers are spread when he's doing the block. So that is definitely incorrect. And the middle block there, I don't know if you could see that at the end, but his middle block is too low. So an opponent would come right over top of that. That block is not actually blocking anything. So take a look at it one more time. And if you look at this, right there, you can see his fingers are spread when he does the low block. A low block is supposed to be fist closed when you do a low block, especially white belt level when you're doing low block, white belt level, tight fist. So he's doing a knife hand low block, and knife hand low block is a higher level technique. And there you can see that middle block, he's throwing his middle block out forwards like this instead of sweeping the middle block across. So instead of coming across the body this way, he's flinging his hand outward. So he's actually extending it outward as if he was doing a back fist front strike. His hand is coming out. And that is not how you do a middle block. A middle block has to be swept across. And you have to have your arm not down like this, where somebody can come over top of your block. Your arm has to be up like this. It should look like you're flexing, almost like you're doing a bicep curl. So your middle block has to be up so that you have some blocking surface to work with. And when you do a low block, especially at a white belt level, and these are white belt patterns, your low block should be with tight fist, right? Hand closed when you're doing a low block. The open hand blocks, when you start to do knife hands, those are higher level already. So not for white belt. So those are a few comments that I wanted to make on those two patterns. And in the next video, we'll start going through the yellow belt patterns. Till next time.